Hello, welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. Very pleased to introduce to you Dr. Babbie Lester. She is with the Mountain Sage Natural Health and Acupuncture. Welcome to the show this morning, Dr. Babbie.
We're really happy to have you here.
It's really great to have you here, and you are a naturopathic physician and licensed acupuncturist.
Right. Yeah.
Perfect. So let's talk first about Mountain Sage and what you guys specialize in.
Okay. Both my husband and I are naturopathic doctors and acupuncturists. We went to medical school in Portland, Oregon, and it was a 6-year program after college. So in college we were both pre-med, and then went to a 6-year program that specializes in naturopathic medicine and classical Chinese medicine. Mm-hmm. So we both have Masters of Science in Oriental Medicine and then a doctorate in naturopathic medicine.
So what is classical Chinese or Oriental medicine? How would you describe that?
So classical Chinese medicine differs then from traditional Chinese medicine in that it's more steeped in the classics, as the name suggests. And it has a lot more to do with when someone comes in with an issue, instead of saying, okay, we're going to do this point and this point and this point for a migraine, we actually do look at the patient's constitution and say, what's really going on here? What is the whole picture? And so it's more dealing with the individual and what characteristic patterns or constitutions they have.
That's probably smart because of the fact that typically people don't go to a doctor until they have like 3 or 4 things wrong, right?
Right.
And so kind of picking through that and figuring out which ones are causing other ones, things that are pretty important.
Yeah, and usually they're all related. So, yeah.
Do you find that to be pretty common? Like if you have one issue and a bunch of others, it's kind of like a ripple effect. They're all connected?
Wow. Yeah, usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So along with that, with the classical Chinese medicine, what is naturopathic medicine?
Naturopathic medicine has 6 principles, and one is treat the whole person. So instead of, like if you were to come to me with knee pain, I wouldn't just say, okay, here's some painkillers for your knee pain. It would be, what is causing this, and what treating the whole person, like I suggested before. Nature is the best medicine. Prevention is the best medicine as well. So instead of chasing after symptoms, it's more about how do we prevent this from happening? How do we restore your vitality to its most natural state? We also talk about treating the whole cause. What else? And first of all, do no harm. So instead of giving a prescription medication, which sometimes can be more harmful, it's what can we do the most, let's start with the most gentle means possible.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea, the approach of not just immediately going to the drugs.
Right.
You know, because there are so many things that drugs do that are harmful as well, like you said.
Right.
And they mask other things, right?
Yep, exactly. So, and create a lot of side effects. So, and there's a place for them. I don't mean to say that there isn't. You know, if someone comes to me with intense hypertension, you know, like 170, 180 over 110, I'm not going to say, you know what, let's just start with some gentle contrast hydrotherapy. And
right, you need to get that down right away.
Right, exactly. And then we can start working with botanicals and lifestyle techniques. So we're both trained, it's in the state of Utah, we're both considered primary care physicians. We do labs, we run tests, I can do gyne exams. It's just a different philosophy.
So along with that, what are some conditions that naturopathic medicine treats?
Everything.
Everything?
Yeah.
Anything from headaches to if you pull the muscle or things like that?
Yeah.
Pretty much the whole broad range?
Everything, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really cool.
I need to try this out. It sounds like.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think about it for, you know, I've had high blood pressure a couple of times, well, higher than I should have had. I've never had anything I would consider to be high blood pressure, but, you know, just getting that where it ought to be is kind of ideal.
Yeah.
And that's a good place to start, isn't it?
Definitely.
Just kind of making all those things, your heart rate and all those things right where they should be.
Yeah, so if you were to come in, it would be, let's look at diet, let's look at lifestyle, let's look at some maybe familial tendencies, let's look at stress levels and see what might be causing them. Do
you have, I'm sure that this happens, and I'll just be the devil's advocate for a minute, but I'm sure you have doubters, right? People who go, oh, this isn't you know, medicine on the order of what they're used to, so they probably have that tendency to kind of question whether it really works.
You know,
Do you have
I feel pretty fortunate because by the time most people come to me, they've been the allopathic route.
So they've
they're
given it up.
believers at that point.
You know, and they've just
Interesting.
said, you know what, I'm on this
Wow.
medication and this medication
wild.
and this medication. It's helping, but I know that it's not addressing the cause.
Wow.
So
One wouldn't expect that. That's really a good thing to hear.
So usually when people come to me, they know that they're going to have to make some changes. You know, it's a little bit harder than just taking a pill, but they're up for it.
Yeah, typically people don't want to make those changes that would make them healthy.
Initially,
right?
yeah.
So when people come to you, what would you say are some of the most common problems that because I'm sure they come to you with one problem or two, then they realize there's a bunch of other things connected to it. What would you say, or is there a commonality, a common condition that you're approached with that people want help for? I don't know.
Most people know us initially as acupuncturists, so they come for a lot of pain situations, whether it's headaches or knee pain or injuries. And then once we start getting into it and they realize, oh gosh, if I started eating a better diet, I could reduce the inflammation in my system so I could heal a little bit better. And I do a lot of fertility work too, and then mental emotional stuff.
Yeah, I bet that's there's a high calling for that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Wow. I was going to talk to you about this. You kind of mentioned the swelling and stuff that goes on with people. You just mentioned, you know, muscle pain and things like that. This can sometimes be very systemic. Like the whole body can start having some of these problems just from things you eat. Is that right?
Absolutely. Primarily.
Really?
Yeah.
Would that account for, like, after I noticed that every now and then, and I can't specifically point out a particular meal, but if I've eaten something, it seems like it must be the same thing every time, but I start to feel it's almost like you feel the blood working through your body, and you start to feel things start to get sore, and it's everywhere all at once.
Right.
I'm assuming that this is kind of what we're talking about here.
Absolutely.
So sort of a global reaction to something.
Right. Yep, absolutely. And it's pretty amazing because a lot of autoimmune conditions are actually just intense inflammation throughout the whole body.
Really?
So I've seen pretty incredible success with rheumatoid arthritis, with lupus, with fibromyalgia, with chronic fatigue, just by changing the diet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. And coming up next after the break, we're going to talk more about an anti-inflammatory diet that you can integrate into your daily schedule, as well as a healthy diet to boost your immune system. You're going to want to stick around for this. Some things you can certainly integrate into your daily schedule. So, well, thanks, Dr. Babbie. Stick around. We're going to be right back here with more after this quick break.